So welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Hlulo Innovation Spotlight. Today, we're going to be going through Jamie Nash's innovation in waste management. So it's my pleasure to introduce Jamie Nash. He's a passionate environmental steward and entrepreneur, and is working to make real impact in sustainability and the circular economy in South Africa. Jamie's journey into environmental advocacy began with his deep-rooted love of nature, nurtured by a family devoted to horticulture. This early foundation set him on a path for innovation, leading him to establish two companies, Electronic Cemetery, which focuses on responsible e-waste management, and Refurb SA, which is committed to extending the life cycle of electronic products through high quality refurbishment. Today, he's sharing his innovative waste management solution. These are both apps that you can use to manage your waste, your customers, I believe, etc. But I'm going to let Jamie take you through that. This offering could really help you streamline your waste management processes, saving you both time and money. So over to you, Jamie. I'm going to let you take the lead on this. And after Jamie is done, we're going to go straight into a Q&A. Jamie, over to you.
Well, thanks, Isabel. Thank you all for joining. It's really an honor to present this to everyone. We feel this is something that we've put a lot of effort into. With regards to reporting and keeping controls in place of, especially when you're dealing with the volumes that you deal with in the waste sector, it can become quite an onerous thing to actually keep tracks and measures in place to record and report, even outside of EPR contributions or EPR inputs and obligations that have presented themselves in the last 2 years or so, just for purely business best practices to keep those metrics within waste. It's not. We're not importing stuff and clear barcodes and inventory controls that are easy to navigate and abundant as well. Like it's quite easy to find systems online for the kind of industries that they serve. With regards to retail and wholesale and what have you. But when it comes to electronic waste or any waste sector, keeping a track of your metrics and keeping a track of everything that you're dealing with, from input side of things right through to your actual outputs, and everything in between, can be quite a complex thing. If you're doing it manually, you would know that, which is what we were doing before. We developed the software. It's a headache, So we've developed what we think is a really good option, with regards to keeping controls for e-waste. It's completely customizable. Can you see the screen there?
Not yet, Jamie. It's coming through now.
Okay, cool.
There we go.
Yeah, so we've developed the software. It's taken us the better part of 2 years to get it to where it is. Like we're beyond the beta stage, but there is constant upgrade and upkeep and evolution, plugins and add-ons that we keep on improving the functionality of the software. So I'll just breeze through it quickly because there is quite a lot to cover, especially given that there is a second app that we've developed for the refurb kind of space, or even for repair centers, people dealing with specifically computer stuff, but I suppose you could also customize it to fit into quite a few different scenarios as a point of sale. But yeah, we've got the EC app here. Let me just log out so they can see how it. Okay, so you got your own user profile. You log into it, it's secure, everything's encrypted in the background, of what the data that you save is all encrypted on a server securely. And I'm not going to go into the technical jargon because the developers speak a completely different language to me, and I think I'm going to make myself a fool trying to explain all of the complexity of the back end. But yeah, so the inputs here are done on a daily basis. You can capture, the serial numbers, barcodes if it's applicable, the actual weight of each individual item. And this is generally going to be stuff that we consider refurbishable on this first page. There's LCDs, towers, laptops, all of the high value recyclable or e-waste that comes through. Then we've got our metrics page where we keep a tabs on what's been recycled. On every day, we break it down to each individual dismantler. And it gives us their outputs on a day-to-day basis. We can go through the fields if we wanted to see, say, what was happening on the 18th. We'd just put in those inputs and search for that, and it would give us those outputs on the day. We've also got our drop-offs and collections, clients that come and drop off, or once we've done collections and we're coming to offload it at the end of the day, their information will all get put here. There's a picture that gets taken of the item if there's any special requirements that they need, in terms of data sanitation, certificate of safe disposal, serial manifest, anything, that falls outside of just purely a collection. We would tick those boxes that are applicable, and then we save and update, and then it would auto-populate all of that. The data sanitation or the destruction certificate would all get sent through to the client after a week. And then, we've got our EWaste reporting. This is something that is mandatory for us. We are EWaste members. I think Lucas did allude to Polyco, and there's lots of different PROs. But if you are compliant in terms of EPR, and you do your reporting diligently, there's definite value that you can get. So here, there's a format that EWaste expects of us, which I'm not sure will be applicable to other PROs. But all of those inputs are put back here that are applicable to us. And then we do the Excel export, and it will populate it in the format that's expected of us by EWaste. There's an activity log here, so we can see exactly who's logged on and where, those things have been done. If there's been any errors, we can revert back to the errors. This is more just for the admin profile. It's not really for if you've got second or third users, in your business that would do reporting on here. Not everybody needs to necessarily have access to this. This would be more for the owner of the company. And then, I'm not going to go into the customers here, but I'm sure you can tell from a copy perspective, it wouldn't be suitable for us, but this is where we input all the customer data information. This is something we haven't really started integrating properly yet. It's going to be integrated to AI technology. We're just waiting for feedback from the development team that manages the AI in the background. The data is raw data at the moment, but in terms of EPR and the benefits of EPR to the manufacturers, we want to ensure that they are getting fairly, tax the levies that are due to the PROs by monitoring how much of the individual or stock gets put onto the market. So that will all populate here. We're hoping to get the raw data assimilated within the next week or two. I was hoping for it to be ready today, but it gets assimilated by an army of people in India. And it is taking a bit of time to get that data through. But we've also got our mobile component that is, when our team's out doing collections, they can input all of the information here. The customer will sign for it. and then you submit it. You can take pictures of, what there is for collection. And then we decided a while ago we didn't have this point of sale component before. Um, but we because we're just doing all our invoicing through the refurb point of sale, but we decided to rather integrate a little POS terminal here. So you can just create your own supplier, input all of that information, and then whatever you're selling, you can just input here and put in the quantity and the selling price if it's if they have that vendor, um, you know, and then we last year the what you call International E-Waste Day, it started being highlighted that there was some expectation of compensation for e-waste that started presenting itself. So we came up with a voucher. So we'll issue customers vouchers through the POS terminal that they can get price deductions if the purchases through our refurb store or the shop, the reclaim shop that we sell reclaimed electronic waste. There's also offline tools with load shedding and what have you. You want to be able to input data, in the event of there being no internet or, something of that nature. So you do have an option to work with offline tools. And then once you're back online, it will auto sync, via the CSVs that are created. And that's pretty much the EC POS, the EC, we're calling it EC RSA. We still haven't really figured out the logo, for the actual app itself. But it's completely customizable to each individual signatory or members, business and branding. And obviously all of the data that gets inputted in there is encrypted on the back end. On the EC app, on the refurb app, we've got let me just log out of this one as well. So it's also let me just close it actually. And okay, well, so it's logged in, so I'm gonna log out right now. But yeah, we've got our dashboard here. It gives you a snapshot of what stock you've got. This links into WooCommerce, and so you can sell your inventory through those various Shopify and those kind of platforms. Tells exactly what you've got, running snapshot of the inventory and stuff. And then, I'm not going to go into the customers, but, we've got our inventory management, that you can input all of the information of all of the stuff that you're selling, which is all completely customizable to any kind of business. I'm assuming we only use it for our business. Then we've got our POS side of things, where if we wanted to do a quote for a customer, we'll just go to quotes, and then we'll say a new customer quote, and create the quote or invoice. And then we do a job pod. We do job pods for repairs. We do repairs for the public as well, outside of just procuring e-waste. And that will give a unique JSON. We can give reports as well, and pull any reports for either sales or invoices or quotes or tickets on any particular thing. And then obviously you can also go into the actual log and see what individual users, because each of our staff members that are signed up to this, they have their own unique sign in. And you can see exactly at a glance what they've been doing. And the one thing as well, another thing that's in development, is we've got the Signum blockchain for the EC app now. We've got the Signum blockchain has become interested or helping us in development for almost 2 years to try and see what can be done with the blockchain and incorporating it into the apps that we've developed. So now with regards to EC, on the back end, as we speak, we've actually got data being pushed through to the blockchain, to the Signum blockchain, which is also going to tie in with that AR camera that we've got in place, because part of our process flow within electronic waste, to get the manufacturers, we've got an AR camera with a company called Dragonfly that is fixed on our conveyor. So all of the manufacturers that come through, we've got a clear snapshot of those manufacturers as they come through. And then that will tie into this platform and give us the data that we need for each individual manufacturer, which then will be assigned to the blockchain once it's matured and verified in a sandbox environment. And once it's verified, and there will be nodes that will be authorized to do the actual inputting onto the blockchain, because it's immutable data. Once it goes on the blockchain, it's there forever. So you just want to make 100% sure that it's completely verifiable. So manufacturers, the actual data of the materials of their products put onto market, how much stuff has re-entered into the circular economy kind of framework, all of that kind of stuff is all going to feed into the blockchain. Signum's one of the oldest blockchains around. It's been around longer than Ethereum, and it can work on very minimal resources in the background. But that again, I'm not going to go into great detail about, because the guys on the Signum team, as well as the other developers that are working with Signum, they will then be able to explain that better, maybe at a bit of a later date. But yeah, I think that's pretty much the explanation in a nutshell. So I think if anyone's got any questions, I'd be glad to help wherever I can.
Great, thanks, Jamie. Can you stop sharing your screen? I actually spotted some questions in the chat, so I'm going to go through those first, and then we can always open the room for additional questions. So you did actually answer the first one, which was, does the solution operate offline? So the answer to that is yes, it does operate offline. What is the benefit to companies to get a disposal certificate? Do they get green points or carbon credits or something similar?
At the moment, I think carbon credits and all of that is quite in its infancy, so the certificate of safe disposal is really just for internal governance for those individual companies, that they can prove to their auditors that the assets have been written off, and that they've had no financial gain to SARS, because essentially once the assets have been written off, especially on a corporate level and on a governmental level, that's the end of the line for them. Like if they decide to try and refurbish and extend the life of that equipment, it's a bit of a different story.
Yeah.
But once generally speaking, in terms of e-waste management, once the assets have reached the end of their warranty period, for a lot of corporates, it's not worth any potential downtime to try and extend the life of that equipment. They'll rather just replace it and buy brand new,
Yeah. I think that's often the case, but let's try to change that slowly over time. There's another one that says, what is the motivation for putting the data into the blockchain?
Well, we're still trying to unpack that ourselves, to be honest. Like I won't say that we've got a finished product, but I'm hoping that it does tie in with the carbon credits, because the tokenization of the data is what we're hoping to achieve. And we really feel like it would have benefits. So we are busy trying to make contact with some of the carbon credit authorities around the world. There's only a handful of them that are recognized and reputable enough to really give, but they do have a bit of a monopoly on that side of things. But I think if they can see the benefits of what we have accomplished and what we're working towards, I don't see any problem with them using this platform as a way to actually potentially monetize carbon credits, or at least at the very least give some kind of kickback to the manufacturers, to incentivize the manufacturers to stay compliant on the EPR legislative framework.
And then what would you say is, like, obviously you've used these products within your own business, and it's been created for your own business. What would you say are the core benefits of it to your business? What have you seen as the impact of using these tools?
Well, as I've been trying to pull myself a bit more out of operational things so I can focus on driving, the bigger picture, it does kind of open me up to not being on site as much as I'd like to be hands-on. I mean, we've got every security mechanism in place to safeguard what we do. But if I'm not going to be physically here, sometimes you have to be able to have an overview of what's going on in your business. If you want to incentivize your staff, if you want to make sure that you're reaching targets, because there are expectations of the size of operation. When you get to a certain level, you can't just take it on a whim, like you're going to get through. You really have to ensure that targets are being met. If they're not being met, you can be proactive in reaching those targets. So it just gives you more control as a business owner, and it also, I think, legitimizes you as an operator within the waste space. When clients see the level of detail that we have on what we're procuring from receiving it right through the chain of custody to when it enters back into the market for recycling, either through foundries or other vendors that do the next part of what we do. It just gives a lot of peace of mind and credibility to us, on many levels, compared to if it was just Excel spreadsheets or, handwritten, documented kind of accounts of day-to-day operational stuff.
So credibility, a snapshot and strategic overview of your business, improved efficiency within your business, more control, and added legitimacy. Great, that's brilliant.
Make it sound a lot better than I did.
Just giving a summary for everyone in the room. I actually want to open up the room now for any questions. Otherwise, I'll just ask questions endlessly. But does anyone in the room have some questions? And I can see some familiar faces in the room, so don't think that you can hide. I can see all these people I know, and I'm like, I know you actually have a question. You just don't want to ask it. I'm hoping somebody throws up their hand. Oh, got a message.
Okay, so thanks for the question, Lisa. Yeah, well, my initial thought was to, go directly to the top, like with SAWIC and the reporting tools that are used on a governmental level for reporting. I see a lot of things that could be improved on, and my initial thought before approaching Fatola or Lulu about this, was to go straight to a governmental level. I have been engaging with the local provincial Department of Environmental Affairs to try and actually get this as the standard platform to be used. So like ultimately that would be the complete cherry on the top, but I think it's definitely not second best option to have the total stamp of approval on this. So I would like to see a lot of use cases, like I think real-time analytics of data waste or data of waste streams. It just gives more tools to actually address the problem, because at the moment, with the current metrics that are used to report on how much waste we generate as a society, and how much enters back into the cycle of recycling and or reuse, or you know upcycling. That data is quite skewed, and it's not an accurate reflection of what the problem is. Because I think if we've got the actual real-time analytical data of what's going on a day-to-day basis, once it's verified and goes into the blockchain, there needs to be complete transparency, in my opinion. I mean, there are ways to obviously mitigate any transparent overview snapshot of. You don't have to subscribe to the blockchain component. You can just utilize the front end. But obviously, if you subscribe to the blockchain component, that's going to be pushing data real time for the whole world to see. And you'll be able to really address the problem with accurate data, and not just thumb sucks or assumptions based on what gets reported on the EPR framework of things to the PROs, because there's monetary gain on that for each individual stakeholder, and we're hoping to maybe have a similar kind of value by reporting onto our platforms through tokenization of that data, and the benefits that get unlocked by your EPR obligations. The benefits of it would be like tenfold, I think, for anybody that uses the platform. And if we could get use case of a whole bunch of people all around the world using this, it would really, I think, have immense benefit to the waste sector.
Awesome. I just did a quick overview, of the persons in the room, and I hope I managed to get all the industries right. But from my understanding of your tool, Jamie, in terms of waste, it's quite sector agnostic. So it could be applied to any waste sector, essentially. So recycling, e-waste, fabric waste, construction waste. Is that correct?
No, organic waste. There would be a
Organic waste.
certain level of adaptation that would need to be done by the development team. I think when I first approached Patola about this, it was, the discussion was centered around possible investment for commercialization. And over the last couple of days, while I've been thinking about that proposal, like I think what I wanted to think about going into this is that like we've got the platform, we've paid for the development, everything's in place, the commercialization, we've already got the plugins on the background for individual operations to facilitate this. The only cost involved to the end user that decides to subscribe to this would be the development cost of making it applicable to their business case. Whether they in waste different waste streams, or whether they in industries that might see benefit to it. There would be, if it's not specifically electronic waste, there would be a certain amount. It would probably work out to about 1,500 rand per day development cost. And that would cover the developer actually coming to them on site, understanding the business of it, looking at the current reporting mechanisms and tools, and then adjusting the front end to accommodate for that.
Okay.
which, we can figure out how that business model works. But I have essentially decided that anybody who's present today that wants to try the platform, that we're gonna give it to them for free for the first 3 months. And then after that,
How's that?
if it proves beneficial to them, depending on the size of the plugins in the background and various other factors, it would probably cost anywhere between 300 to 600 rand max, like 800 rand a month, depending on how much is required to adapt it to their individual business.
Great. I absolutely love that, Jamie. And so I hope everyone in the room does take Jamie Nash up on this offer. I also just wanted to say, obviously, there's customization depending on the sector that you're involved in. So the customization would be on your business, or potentially if you are in the Patola Alumni Network, that's something you could put a request into the Alumni Network for. But yeah, Jamie has very kindly offered a trial period with this to see the value, like physically see it in your business. So please do take him up on this offer. Is there any other questions in the room? Oh, I see there's one in the chat coming. 3 months or 1 month free trial is the question.
3 months. A month
Three
goes by
months.
so quickly, you wouldn't
Yes.
even be able to breathe.
Yes, and
No,
3 months would show some movement on the dashboard and that kind of
exactly.
overview to have a nice
Yeah, and
picture. Great.
the development team is under strict NDA with us, and we would gladly sign any NDA to anybody who would want to sign up to the trial. We definitely open to signing any
Mm,
NDAs so that they feel safeguarded, and will be safeguarded with what we're
awesome.
doing.
Great. I think that brings us to the end of the session. Thank you so much for sharing your innovation, Jamie. We're really, really excited to see where these apps take you and where it takes other businesses managing waste in South Africa. I think there's a huge gap and a great opportunity in the space of tracking waste in South Africa. And one of the things we need to acknowledge kind of before it becomes too late is that it's going to become very regulated, this space, and it's something that people are going to have to implement. And so we can already see it on our side that there's a lot of tracking and tracing that's required of small businesses now from corporates. And so if you're doing any business with government or corporate or other big business, you would be required to provide more tracking and more legitimacy to that data. And I think this app would really do that for these businesses and open up some new markets and opportunities. So, guys, please investigate this. We will send a mail following this session to everyone that joined today. We will be sharing the brochure, the product brochure, as well as this recording, and Jamie Nash's contact details so that you can get in touch and find out more about your free trial and purchasing or securing that subscription to the product. So I think this is an amazing opportunity, Jamie. We look forward to following up and seeing how this progresses. And I really do hope everyone takes up this opportunity. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for the platform. Appreciate it. Thanks for making the time, everybody. And yeah,
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone in the room for joining us today. I know Friday is always an interesting day and trying to get lastminute.com things done. So we will make sure in future we do it on a Monday when people feel less like doing their actual jobs and want to join in and find some opportunities. So we'll make sure to do that in the future. Everyone who joined, thank you so much. Jamie Nash, thank you so much for making the time. We really appreciate it. And we will be sharing this on Hulu as well as our Hulu platform. So keep an eye out for that. But note, everyone that's here, this opportunity for the subscription is only for those who joined in the room today. So it's not an open opportunity to everyone. So once again, I'm going to say, please make use of that opportunity to test out this platform and see if it works for your business, for you and your business. Have a wonderful day, everyone. And we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thanks, Isabel. Cheers, cheers,
Thanks,
everybody.
team. Bye.
Bye.